Hi, I'm Dan Sweet. I'm Director of Public Relations and Communications for Helicopter Association International. We do a lot of webinars here at HAI, but this one's really pretty special. And I think it's actually going to be a lot of fun. We're talking today about exhibiting at HAI HELI-EXPO. I was an exhibitor coordinator for a company for a number of years, and I learned a lot. And I know that the people on the webinar today have a great deal of information. And I think the goal of this is not only to make this a great webinar, give you guys a lot of information, but also help you have a lot of fun with this too. So let's go ahead and see who we have on the webinar today. Today we have Caitlin Mann, who is with HAI. She's our Assistant Director of Exhibits and Experience. We have Emily Monahan, who is our Conventions Manager. We have Amy Ellis, who is the Senior Strategic Client Services Manager at GES. Katie White, who is the sales partner at the Wyman company, and Sarah Moore, who is the senior account executive for onPeak. Now, if this is your first webinar with HAI, we like to make these things interactive. We want to get, we want to provide information, but we also want to get information back. We want to know what you need. So please ask questions. And then we get a little bit more information about that in a second. To use the questions or to ask questions, we do try to pay more attention to the question module. It's going to be either at the bottom or the side of your screen, depending on what platform you're using. The question module is going to be right probably next to the chat module, which you're also encouraged and welcome to use. But if you have a question you specifically want to get one of our panelists to address, please use the question module. That's where we pay the most attention. The other part of it is this webinar is being recorded. We want to make sure everybody's aware of it. If you have to leave the webinar partway through, or if you want to come back and watch something again, or if you think other people should share it and see this, we will be sending out the recording link here fairly soon. One really fun thing about this today is we want you to be really engaged. So we have prizes for the people who are the most engaged, the people who ask them the greatest number of questions. If you're willing to provide helpful, relevant hints, you might have picked up during the show, please share those in the question module and in the chat module. We probably will not be able to provide the information on who wins immediately, but we will be sending out an email on that as well. I'm going to start. Before we go to the other panelists, I'm going to give you my hint. We produce a calendar, a planner, almost every year now. And I understand this information is on the website. If you're a new exhibitor for HELI-EXPO, these things can help you immensely. They can save you, depending on the size of your booth, your organization, they can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars by keeping track of the deadlines. Those things are so vital. And, when you come out looking good, then the company comes out good and everybody's happy. So let me stop sharing my screen and we will turn this over to Caitlin to take over now.
Hi, everyone. All right, can everyone see my screen? Just making sure. I'm Caitlin Mann. As Dan said, I am the Assistant Director of Exhibits and Experience for HAI. So I'm going to just start out with just the basics of we're going to walk through the website. There's a lot of resources and information on the website. And I think, a lot of the times you don't know where to look. So I'm going to try to kind of point some things out for you. I'm going to try and pause after each kind of section to check the chat and see if there's any questions that we need to answer before turning it over to any of my colleagues. So just, again, put your questions and comments in the chat or the Q&A box. So hopefully this works. Bear with us. Make sure we go to hopefully you all can see my screen. Okay, so this is the HAI HELI-EXPO website. All the information you need is really under this exhibit section. It's a drop down. So again, you just hover over it. You can see all the different options and resources. So there's a lot to unpack here. So again, bear with me. I'm going to try and go as slow as possible, but again, put your questions in the chat if you have it. I'm going to just start with just the general booth types here. I know you all are already signed up to exhibit with us, but just so you know the information about, the different sizing of the booths. We got the standard booths, the different types of booths, are sometimes confusing. So again, we have a lot of information here about the different kinds. I did want to kind of just highlight the static booths are different from the standard booths. We have that indicated on the floor plan, which I will show you in a little bit. But again, the static booths, just want to remind you all that that does not have any carpeting or furniture, that there's specific rules around having a static display. So here, again, here's where you find that information. I also wanted to point out that we have a new product and new exhibitor pavilion. So that's also here as well. Again, information about that area. And again, I'll show you on the floor plan once in a minute where that's located in the hall. But again, that just has, it's a dedicated area, comes with carpet and a special kind of dedicated package with signage for the new products and exhibitors. So that's just something that we have on the floor. And I will also then just move to the next, major things, rules and regulations. If you have questions on where the rules, where the restrictions, booth guidelines is also where like height restrictions is as an example. I can scroll down here. So booth height restrictions, if you have questions on, my booth is a standard linear booth, it's an 8-foot restriction. If it's a perimeter booth, it's 12, islands is 20. And again, if you have any variances, anything over that you are unsure of, you can always email us or you fill out a booth variance request form, which is the link is right here as well. And also, again, it's also in probably in one of our helpful contacts, as well as the exhibitor kit if you need a booth variance. Again, just email us. That's the easiest way to get there or get to us. And the other one I wanted to highlight here is the deadlines. As Dan mentioned, the exhibit planner has a full calendar with the deadlines in it, but here's also a quick reference way for you to see all the deadlines. It lists them all out here. So again, we started in 22, we're now in 23. So here are the upcoming deadlines. We just had the early bird discount deadline for registration for attendees. The Rotor magazine deadline just passed. The exhibitor appointed contractor EAC forms were just really just the form to indicate that you are having an EAC is due, and then the actual EAC insurance is due later, as you can see down here. The aircraft display form and document for the insurance is due on the 27th. So again, if you have any questions, it's a great place to reference. I'm going to just move over to actually probably show you the floor plan. So when you click, there's a couple different ways to find it, but I'm going to go this way. So this is the exhibitor dashboard, which we will get to. Emily's going to talk about that next. But you can also look at the floor plan, clicking that button here. Here's the interactive floor plan. I know it's probably a little bit small on your screen, but you can zoom in and zoom out. It just, I want to be able to highlight a few key areas on here for you. So I'm going to keep it a little bit smaller. So I wanted to note, as I mentioned before, there are kind of a couple different areas on here. The static booths are all these booths. So here it's kind of highlighted in the bluish purple. It says static booths. So anything that's like kind of highlighted in the bluish purple says static are the static booths. The exhibitor, first time exhibitor and new product pavilion is here in green. So again, this is that area that I talked about before. And then I wanted to kind of point out the entrances because this is kind of a unique venue where I think last time we were there in Atlanta in 2019, there were 2 separate halls and you had to walk between halls. So this year it is now connected. So we're in halls B and C, and then there's a area in the middle that is the BC connector. So this area that I'm kind of circling right here is the BC connector. So B is at the bottom of your screen down here, and the main entrance is here in red. And just wanted to note that the registration area is actually upstairs. So you go down a set of escalators to get down to this B entrance hall on the B side. There is another secondary entrance here, but the main entrance is this red one right here, where we'll be funneling everyone. And then up on the C side, it's on street level. So the main entrance is here. The shuttle buses will be dropping off. We'll also have another registration area over in this pre-function space up here. But again, this is the main entrance, the red one, and then a secondary entrance is over here. those are the main things. The food, we have food courts in the corner, so that's what those are right here. They're indicated if you are interested in that. And then if you're bringing in an aircraft, the doors are right here, so the landing will be a little bit further, but you'll be towed in or trucked in via these doors right here on this. And also wanted to point out, it's kind of near our HAI safety booth, and HAI Connect is in this area. This year we're combining it into one area, so it's all right here. We have a HAI membership booth, as well as we're starting this year, kind of an AAM area. So just be sure to check that out as well. And I'm going to go back to the main HELI-EXPO exhibit page right here. So again, want to just point out resources here, a lot of frequently asked questions. I'm not going to click on each one, but again, if 9 times out of 10 you have a question, it can probably be found on here. The exhibitor appointed contractors form. Again, if you need information about EACs, click there. There's also a how-to video that I'd made that's on there, so you can watch the video as well if you have questions. And then the other really important tab right here is the helpful contacts. So anytime you are unsure of who to talk to or about various things, we have a couple different tabs here. The HAI staff is this first tab here. So again, it has my information, it has Emily, it has all of us listed in who does what right here, so you know who to go to. And then also then there's other tabs where it goes to GES. So again, GES has their information here for freight questions, for rigging questions. There's different emails, the convention center, as well as all of our other vendors. So whether that's catering, internet, if you need DMC services, if you're having any offsite events or anything like that, any floral needs, transportation needs, electrical, plumbing, security, audiovisual, you name it, it's all right here. Leaf retrieval, photography. So that is another main area. And then also the official partners I wanted to point out, because there's a lot of scammers and pirates that out there right now, but HAI has approved partners. So GES is our approved general services contractor. onPeak is our approved housing provider. Wyman is our sales partner. So again, here's a list. If you're ever confused or want to make sure that it is an official vendor that's contacting you, check here. I encourage that, or again, send us an email if you're not sure. I wanted to point that out and make sure everyone is aware. And then I'm going to kind of lastly, because we're going to go over the exhibitor services kit separately and in more detail. But first the exhibitor dashboard, and then I'm going to turn it over to Emily to kind of go into more detail about the exhibitor dashboard. But here, if you click on the exhibitor dashboard, it'll take you to this kind of home page. And again, you can also click the apply button, it'll take you there as well. But if you click this page, well, before I actually click on it to segue into the actual dashboard, again, there's a how-to video here about how to register your booth personnel. If you have questions about the registration hours, again, you just click the little plus sign and it expands, has all the information about, again, if you have questions about just how many badges do you get, things like that, it's all right here under this exhibitor registration. And you also there's a link to the exhibitor registration page in here, as well as in the exhibitor dashboard, which again, Emily's going to go over in a second. So again, you can go click to the exhibitor dashboard here or click the apply button, and that will take you to the exhibitor dashboard where you log in. If you don't know your password, you can always email us and we can email you and send you your password to log in. And with that, any questions on the actual website before we continue? I say, Aaron or anyone, can you tell me if there's actually any questions that I didn't already address? Otherwise, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and let Emily take over.
Hey, Caitlin, there was a question about where to find what power is provided for their booth space.
The booth space itself does not come with any electrical or power. You would have to order that through the building, which again can be found in the exhibitor services kit, which again, you can go to that contacts page, back to here if you want to go to the helpful contacts page. It's listed on there as far as electrical. Oh, it did not go. Hold on, what is my screen doing? There you go. Helpful contacts page. It's down here under electrical. My drop down just wants to keep coming down. Other vendors. And then internet, electrical and plumbing. So it's through Edlin Electrical. You would need to order. So here's the website and the email address right here, but it's also in the exhibitor kit.
There was another question about the floor plan. Is the map north up?
Say that again.
Sorry, the dog interrupted me. Is the floor plan showing north at the top?
Yes, I believe so. So like the C side is the top, is the north, and then the B side is the south. Okay, so let me, I guess, let's switch over to.
I have one more question. We're getting a couple questions about where you submit your certificate of insurance.
Email, insurance, and here, I will go up to actually to this appointed EAC page right here. Again, there's a video about explaining this, but you just email insurance@roger.org, and that's how you submit.
Caitlin, can I jump in for just a second?
Yes.
For the person who asked the question about the map, the show floor plan, it's north is actually on the right side of the map. That's where the flying will take place, is on the north, on the far outside of the show floor area, but north is to the right on this particular map.
Okay, thanks for clarifying.
At least that's on the scalable one. I assume the PDF is the same layout.
Yeah.
And Caitlin, just to jump in, sorry, the
ahead.
certificate of insurance also needs to be submitted into the off the exhibitor services manual to the Veritech portal.
Okay,
third
and
parties.
we can walk through that one once we go through the kit and to show where that is exactly as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's back to my sharing my screen, and I will go through the slides for Emily. 1 second. I just wanted to make sure we got all the questions first before we moved on. Okay, so we are going to go through the exhibitor dashboard now. And Emily, go ahead, you take it away.
Okay, so I did see some other questions, and those will be covered in the upcoming portions. So just hold on to those. We will get to all the questions. So basically, I wanted to go over the public-facing information on your exhibitor dashboard. So this information populates your exhibitor profile, which is public-facing. Attendees will see it, other exhibitors will see it, basically anyone who looks at the details on your company on the floor plan. So we have your exhibiting as company name, the location, so that's your booth number, a brief description, a logo, and that's for people that have purchased the logo, and some detailed info on your booth location. Next slide. So how to edit this. So you want to use that exhibitor dashboard link that Caitlin has gone over and navigate to booth info. So that's where you can update any of those fields that I just went over. You can save it, make sure you review it, and then up in the right hand side, there's click to preview, where you can preview what that looks like to an attendee. Okay, next slide. So these are just some helpful hints for what your limitations are. The product categories, which are just fields like association and clubs or airframe manufacturer, things that describe, what products and services you offer. You're limited to 7 choices. Your company description is limited to 1,000 characters. It's editable, links are allowed, and it gives you the specs for your logo image. So your exhibitor registration portal is on the exhibitor dashboard under that blue area Caitlin is highlighting. Thank you, Caitlin. So there's 2 ways to get to it, either the dashboard button or that link that's posted. That is where you want to register all your exhibit booth staff. So the exhibit badge gives your booth staff access earlier hours than attendees on the setup days. So you want to make sure anyone on your staff working the booth, setting up, tearing down, is registered as an exhibitor. So on that page, you're going to see your allotment details. I've outlined some of the allotment defaults that we have. So it's 4 badges per 100 square feet of booth space. For statics, it's 2 badges per 800 square feet of booth space. Okay. So adding your booth staff, there's 3 ways to do it. Previous booth staff, if you'd exhibited before, kind of just lets you add people that you've had in past years. Add exhibitor booth personnel, that gives you the chance to put in anyone new. And then upload booth personnel, that gives you an option to upload a spreadsheet. So if you have a lot of booth staff, that will save you time. I see a lot of exhibitors adding their staff, but not sending confirmation emails. So on the right side of this slide, I've outlined how to do that. You can either click on the email icon for each person or click send all emails. So that makes the system send the confirmation email with a badge number and details to whoever you've added. Okay. So this is about invite your customers. We'd like to see everyone take advantage of this. So for standard booths, you get 4 customer invites per 100 square feet. For statics, you get 2 customer invites per 800 square feet. So each invite is redeemable for a 3-day pass to the show. There's 3 ways to invite customers. You can just distribute your code. So everyone gets a code on their invite your customer page on the exhibitor reg portal. You can forward the code URL, or the system can send an invite via email for you. Okay. So also on the exhibitor dashboard, there's marketing materials for you to use. So if you see any of that blue text, that is available for you to click on, and that downloads either those graphics or the social media toolkit, which is a Word document about 2 pages, and that gives you message templates. All you would have to do is copy and paste the text that we've provided into your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Twitter, advice, and templates for you to make videos. There are the graphics that are in different sizes, which you can edit and put your booth number on or add some text. So that is there for you to use. Please feel free to tag us if you are going to use any of those for posting. And Erin, do we have any questions about the exhibitor dashboard, reg portal, or marketing materials?
I'm trying to keep up with all of them. There's a lot. I think a lot of the ones we currently have are still about like the booth space and setting up, tearing down. So nothing related to that.
Okay, we can go through the exhibitor services kit, and then also, again, at the end, if there are still some questions or we missed your question, we can email you afterwards to help, solve that. But we will try and get to everything. We just still have a lot of things to go through. So I will just keep it moving. But again, keep putting them in there, and yeah, we'll respond after if we don't get to it today.
There is, sorry.
Good.
There is one question about when you're sending customer invites to the booth, does the invite go to all the registered booth exhibitors or just to the one point of contact?
Let me see if I can see that question. So invite your customer is different than your booth staff. So invite your customers, if you're sending an email, that's basically an invitation for them to redeem the 3-day pass or an attendee badge, let's call that. And then the booth exhibitors, which is your booth staff, that would go to whatever email address you put in when you add them to your list of booth staff. So hopefully that answers the question. Jeff, please let us know if you need more
Yes.
clarification.
That would be like it would go to like the primary contact, which is your person that's on that registered everyone. Any other questions on registration or anything before we move on to the actual exhibitor kit?
The only other question I see is, in the past, guests had to choose which day, and now will they be able to attend all 3 days and not register for each day?
Yes. So the guests, if they do register through one of the 3 ways that we have for invite your customers, that is for the 3-day pass. They can come one day, but it redeems as a 3-day pass. And I see a question from Tara, max of 60, and yes, that is still the case.
Yes. Thank you. Good question for both static and standard, max 60. Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna move on to the GES exhibitor kit. So again, you can access it. You should receive an email from GES, but you can also access it from our website as well. So here, this is the actual what the exhibitor kit looks like. And Amy, with GES, please feel free to chime in. And if I'm going too fast or if you want to elaborate on anything, feel free to jump in. So this is kind of the main home screen to the kit. I wanted to highlight again a few things that are the kind of frequently asked questions. For shipping, all your shipping information is you just hover over shipping, drayage, materials, and you have all these different options. You can print your labels. If you have questions about where the marshaling yard, if you just want a quote for the shipping, I wanted to highlight that. Also, just if you have questions and you need somebody answered, use this online down in the right corner, this online chat. It's the purple and blue down here. That's the easiest way. If you have just a quick question or you're having trouble getting a hold of someone at GES, like definitely use that feature. Also, if you want, if you need to call someone here, the numbers are listed here as well on this main page. Email might take a little bit longer for a reply, but you can also email them. Again, this is what your standard booth comes with. It comes with 10 by 10 space is our standard sizing for standard booths. It comes with a back wall and side drapes. It has carpet in the aisles, Blue Jay, and get your little ID sign. Everything else you need to provide and order on your own. So again, this is where you do that. If you need to buy furniture, tables and chairs, counters, any additional signage, lighting, this is where you can find it here and order it through GES. Another important area is this target information. So since we have a lot of aircraft and things going on the show floor, we have a targeted move-in plan. I think GES is in the process of updating that as we've had some changes to the floor plan. But there is a target map and move-in plan. And if you need to request a change, you can click here and it will take you to the page where you can request the change. I'm not logging in, but you would obviously log in to actually place your orders. The other areas I wanted to highlight, audiovisual is through On Services. So here is where you would go to order your audiovisual needs. You click on this, it gives you all the options. You can order directly on there. Even if you need help, you can contact them. There's, the button you can click there to get in touch with them. You need to order hanging signs, any additional show services. Again, I listed on that helpful contacts page. It's also in here. So again, electrical, plumbing, you order it, the forms are in here. Any internet, catering, DMC services, security, lead retrieval, all the information you need is in this kit. Again, also just the rules and regulations. If you're not sure about anything, this is where you turn. This is where you go to find out what the rules are. The other one is the big one is the EAC form, as we mentioned before. You need to submit the insurance to both HAI and to GES. So here is the GES information for the EACs under this tab here. Anything else, Amy, that you really want to highlight about this portal?
No, I think you pretty much covered it. If there's any questions in regards to the chat or the Q&A area, we can address those as well. But I believe I'm listed under your helpful contact. So if anybody's having any challenges with the kit or has a question that they can't find the answer to, feel free to reach out to me as well.
Are there any questions in the chat? Before we move on.
We have one that's for, I would assume Amy, if they send a crate to the warehouse, will they be charged for storage? And then what is the last day the crate can be at the warehouse without storage fees?
So if you go into the shipping and receiving, shipping, drayage, and materials.
Yes.
So under the
here.
Under the advanced shipment to warehouse area, shipments can arrive as early as January 27th. And the last day for them to arrive without surcharges would be February 27th. If you ship prior to January 27th, there are storage fees involved. But if you ship in between the January 27th and the February 27th, there are no additional storage fees.
Okay.
And I would like to just express that with the transportation challenges that a lot of people are having these days, I highly recommend shipping as much as you can and everything to the advanced warehouse if possible. At that point, we can confirm that we have received your shipment. You'll be able to see online. And then we will bring it over to the convention center at that point. But based on delays and things like that with trucking, I highly recommend getting it to the advanced warehouse and not waiting and trying to go to direct.
Again, you can make your own, print your own labels here. You just put in the information and it kind of walks you through the process. Any other questions before we continue?
Somebody is asking, how do we arrange a time for dropping our booth?
So again, there is a targeted floor plan. So there's specific day or time that you've been contacted already, or it's listed on here. If you want to change that or request to change that, again, you would do the request. Amy, is there anything additional that they need to do?
If they are speaking to the advanced warehouse, they do not need to make an appointment. They just need to arrive between the hours of 7:30 and 3:30. And they're closed for lunch between 12 and 1, but they don't need to make an appointment. They can go directly to the advanced warehouse. In regards to shipping direct to show site, it is a targeted move-in, so we would defer you back to that target floor plan as soon as I get it updated and uploaded for your correct target time. If not, you can reach out to me, but do not have to avoid additional charges. Make sure you adhere to your target time.
Okay, and then the last question is, someone saw that carpeting is not automatically provided but is required. Is that correct? And are there any items that are required?
Yes, carpeting is required. It's not included. The only area in which it is included is in that new product and new exhibitor area because they have a special different kind of carpeting. But all booths are required except for static space. As I indicated before, the static space is separate and different, but all standard booths are required to have carpeting, and you can purchase them through this kit. You can purchase carpet. Anything else?
Amy, there's one that's directly in the chat for you if you want to answer that one.
Okay.
It's about a point of contact for someone specific.
Okay. I can do that.
I think that's it for right now.
Okay, so then we'll keep it moving, and again, we can circle back if there's any additional questions that come up, and if we have time at the end, we'll just open it up to any questions at all. But I'm gonna pass it over to Katie White with Wyman, who's our sales partner.
Hi, everyone. Glad that we have a nice crowd here joining us today. Like Caitlin said, I'm part of the Wyman company. We're HAI's official sales partner. So that includes exhibit sales for HELI-EXPO, sponsorship, and advertising. You actually probably have heard from some of my teammates. Their names include Rachel Moses, Beth Sheehan, Jennifer Syrick, and John O'Neill. Good news is, and Tom, I saw your question in the chat. Good news is there is still time for sponsorship and advertising for booth traffic drivers for HELI-EXPO. Some of those options include on-site branding through banners and digital signing at the Georgia World Congress Center, as well as the Georgia Aquarium. We also have plenty of time here for companies to take advantage of the advertising that we have through the HELI-EXPO edition of Rotor Magazine and the on-site program guide. There's also digital options as well through Rotor Daily, our newsletter, and retargeting campaigns capturing the audience that we receive from heliexpo.com and rotor.org. The mobile app will also have options as well to provide additional exposure through enhanced listings and push notifications. So if that's of interest, we have those available as well. If you'd like to learn about any of these items, you can reach me direct. It's really easy. It's sales@rotor.org. That comes direct to my team. I'm more than happy to get you connected to somebody on our team to put together a package that best aligns with your goals for HELI-EXPO and also throughout the year with the HAI community. So again, that's sales@rotor.org, and I look forward to seeing everybody in Atlanta.
And we can also drop that email into the chat as well to make sure everyone has that. And then kind of as a good segue, as you said, there's some options on the mobile app. So we're gonna kind of do an overview of the mobile app. And I believe Emily is going to kind of lead that discussion, as she's the mobile app guru.
Thanks, Caitlin. So I saw a question from Ronnie earlier. Are we using the same app as we did for aerial safety? And the answer is yes, we are using SwapCard again. This is a new event for the app, but it's in our same app community. So you won't have to download a different app if you already have the HAI Events app. Some important dates to note is that we are opening the app early to exhibitors only on February 13th. So you'll get an email from SwapCard. Currently, we're pulling in all of the exhibitor info from that exhibitor profile, your contacts. So you'll already have something set up for you, and you'll get an email from SwapCard giving you instructions to log in. So the app will be open only to us, exhibitors, staff, until February 27th when we open it to the public. So those are just important dates to note. So you can look over your virtual booth, your exhibitor profile, and make sure you have that as filled out as possible. Okay, so these are just some screen grabs that I have put on here from a virtual booth and exhibitor profile. So as you can see, Aero Metals has their logo pulled over because they purchased the logo upgrade on their application for space. We have your booth number pulled over from A to Z. There's a button for Talk Now, so that sends your booth a message from an attendee, another exhibitor, a speaker, anyone using the app. People can bookmark your company. All of those things are reportable to you. The description also comes over from the exhibitor profile. So all those things you can update on your exhibitor dashboard under booth info, like I went over earlier. Then on the right side image, we have product categories, which I also mentioned on the exhibitor dashboard. Those all come over. There's space for you to put all of your social media links. So we have LinkedIn on here, but there are options for Twitter, Facebook, contact details. That is someone who would be handling most of your contact. That info is coming from your exhibitor contact in A to Z, and you can change that in the app. It also shows your team. So that's just some basics on what your exhibitor profile on the app will look like. Like I said, we are working on those integrations now to bring as many details over as we can so things are filled out for you. So basically you can just review, add things, and then be good to go.
Any questions before we move on and Sarah talks about housing? And again, I think you mentioned this before, Emily, but we will also, we're working on getting some how-to videos for the specific to the app. So again, once that is available, you'll get the email from SwapCard, and then we will also include, videos to help kind of walk you through how to do things.
Yes, there will be a slide deck and then a video library, which is currently being created. There's a question from Tara about who receives the Talk Now messages. So you can set that in the app where it goes to the whole team or it goes to one specific person. So that's an option for you guys to set up once you get into the app and kind of talk over with your team who you want to be kind of the app contact person.
Okay. Anything else? Otherwise, we can move right ahead, move right along.
Oh, sorry, Caitlin. Another question from Rachel. Is the app a free service to us as exhibitors, or is this something we need to purchase? So it is a free service. You don't have to purchase anything to have that exhibitor profile. There are some add-ons like Katie mentioned. If you want to have an ad or do a push notification through the app, that would be for a cost. So if you're interested on advertising through the app, you would just get in touch with Katie.
Perfect. Okay, all right, well then let's, and again, we can circle back if there's more questions that come up. But let's move on to Sarah with onPeak. As we've said, onPeak is our official housing provider. We have some reminders on dates coming up. So go ahead, Sarah, if you want to take it away.
Thanks, Caitlin. Hi, everyone. So happy to be here today. I wish I could say I'm happy to see all of your faces, but I can't see them right now. But have seen so many names that I recognize, and it's just making me very excited to be on site with everyone in March. As Caitlin mentioned, we do have a couple of reminders for you. If you have not yet booked housing, the deadline to book at HAI's discounted rate is February 7th. You've got a lot of great ways to book. I did list our call center information. They are available Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. You can either call them, send them an email, or if you're comfortable with booking things online, you can actually just go to HAI's website to book housing. And fun fact, if you're already on the Expresso page, there is a link to housing there as well. Now, I did want to make sure you all have my information. My name is Sarah Moore. I am the Senior Account Executive on HAI HELI-EXPO from onPeak. I've got my phone number as well as my email listed there. Please feel free to reach out to me with any questions at all. For any kind of reservations changes, of course, the call center is a bigger department than just being by myself, so they're probably the best ones for that. But while you're on site or have questions about booking multiple rooms, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I also have a colleague, Brittany Tompkins. I'm going to make sure I add her information to this slide as well before it is sent out to everyone. She is a great person to work with if you have any large groups and need help managing those. We will both actually be on site as well. If you've never had a chance to stop by the housing desk for a HELI-EXPO, this year we will be in B building and we'll be at 4455. At that booth, we will be advertising hotels for 2024 as well as the 2024 location. So I hope to see you there. Lastly, what I wanted to mention is I did include a screenshot of our dashboard. If you do book 2 or more rooms, you do get access to this dashboard to be able to manage your reservations. Many of you I know are already familiar with this process. If you haven't ever dived into the other things we offer, such as group RSVP or using the group roster upload, send me an email and I'm happy to set up a demo with you to walk you through this. It might be a little too late if you've already added all of your names and managed your reservations, but for any future years, make sure you save my information. Oh, thank you, Tara. As Tara mentioned, it is very user-friendly, but sometimes you just need an introduction to the process you're using, and that's what I'm here for. Leslie Ferry with Bell had also mentioned a question for us as well, and that was about deadlines. If you do have a large group of 25 or more, your next upcoming deadline for reservations and adding your names is going to be February 7th as well. It does correspond with that last date for the discounted rates. For those of you who have already booked on February 8th, we will be sending over our first round of rooming lists to the hotels. So you should start seeing confirmation numbers come back between a few days after the 8th, just in case you're needing those. And let me take a look at questions to see if anything's coming through. Tamara, we are sending our first list over on the 8th. So that's when we'll start collecting confirmation numbers and they will start processing first night room and tax deposits. Our final cutoff is on the 22nd. So you can make changes with us up until the 21st. And then we'll be sending out confirmation emails after that. Tara, with the deposit questions, I would say plan for them all to be charging deposits. We have seen a major shift in most cities since COVID that hotels that previously did not used to charge deposits are charging that first night's room and tax deposit now. So I would just anticipate getting charged. If you are a group that does need billing set up for your guest, because basically the way it works, if you haven't had a group check-in before, once the hotel receives the rooming list, they will charge the first night's room and tax deposit to the card on file. However, if billing isn't set up with the hotels in advance, when the guests do come to check in, they will be asked for a method of payment. So if your company does like to handle charges for all of your guests, just connect with me and I'll make sure we get a credit card authorization form set up so you can have billing. Otherwise, your guest will be asked for a credit card at check-in. We also have many exhibitors who've taken the opportunity of using that dashboard to add individual credit cards to each reservation for maybe guests that they want them to manage their own deposit. And that's something I can also talk you through if you want that as an option. Let me see, I don't think there's any other ones for housing, but I'll keep an eye out.
Any other questions? I think we've
No, Cheryl. Yes, you can change names. So once we do reach that cancellation policy, that would just be for a complete cancellation. You can change names with onPeak. Once the rooming list goes over to the hotel and we're direct, you can still change names and dates with them. One thing that you do want to keep in mind is once your guest checks in, any changing of the departure date might result in an early departure fee. But if they change that departure date at check-in, there are no fees associated with that.
That's a very good point. Good question. Any other questions? this is kind of, I know we went through a lot of different things, a lot of information was thrown out there. So this is now the opportunity when I open it up to anyone has any questions about anything exhibits related, you know, to any one of us up here, you know, we're here to help. So just let us know. And if you think of something later, again, you can always email us after, you know, and we will get back to you as soon as we can.
So Caitlin, I see some questions in the chat, and just to let everyone know, it's a little bit easier for us to keep track of the questions if you put your question in the Q&A. But I'm going to go through some of them. So
Okay.
from Tom, I can't figure out how to update the company info. So what you want to do is go to log into your exhibitor dashboard. And once you're on that page, go to booth info. So that's part of the exhibitor profile. And if that doesn't answer your question, and you're trying to update your company info on your membership record or just the exhibitor system, shoot us an email. So the email address is on the screen. Multiple people can log into the exhibitor dashboard. The password is for your company. It's not tied to a specific individual. So everyone in the company can have the password. If you choose, anyone can log in. The only caveat to that is the exhibitor registration portal can only have one person logged in at a time. The exhibitor dashboard, multiple people can be logged in at a time.
And also just to note, it is the same password for your dashboard and registration. It's the same password. That's also a commonly asked question. And if you don't know the password, we can provide it to you. Just email us.
There's a question in the chat. Is island booth power provided from a floor box or drop from above? So I think that one would be for Amy.
So Edlin is actually the electrical provider, but I can let you know it's based on the type of power that you will need and the size of the power. Might need to come from overhead, but usually they can do floor port.
Another question from the chat, is it too late for sponsorships? It is not, and Katie would be the person that you reach out to with the Wyman team.
Yeah, sales@broder.org. Any other questions?
Somebody asked, is there a FedEx office at the convention center?
There is. Go ahead, Amy. You're going to say with a caveat.
That's okay. There is one in the main registration B lobby, the AB lobby. There is a larger FedEx office there. I believe there was a smaller one over on the C side, but last time I was there, it was not open. So if you need any FedEx needs, I would definitely go over to the lobby B side. Their store is much larger and probably will have what you need.
I think there also might be one in the Omni as well, just as another point of reference. Again, probably
Yes,
small,
there is.
but there is one there as well.
Yes, there is one
That's
there.
connected. You don't have to walk outside.
Yes.
Question for Caitlin, which doors will be used for the initial hall opening Tuesday morning?
I'm going to go back to it so you can actually see it here. So the official opening would be on the B side. So this main entrance down here.
Okay.
But we are going to, I believe, encourage, you know, people from coming, because people are coming from both ways since again, shuttles are dropping off. So I think we are going to try and do, you know, something as part of the opening to draw people. And like, I think we might have something in HAI Connect in the safety booth as again, just a first welcome introduction, you know, once we first open. So again, this BC connector is kind of the central area. It connects the B and the C buildings. So the main entrance and the primary one for the opening will be on the B side. But again, people really can enter either way.
Okay, there's another question in the chat. If they don't have an EAC or bringing an aircraft, do they need to submit any type of certificate of insurance?
You need to have the insurance, and I believe they can reference if you're not sure which, what the requirements are. Again, I encourage to go back to the rules and regulations page here, and it actually outlines all the insurance requirements to have.
Yeah, on that list, it's gonna be number 27.
Yeah, thank you. I was like, I'm gonna scroll down, but it is way down here. It's a
And the
long-
link to that is also in the questions and answers under the answers. I'm not sure if,
under the FAQs.
no, I'm not sure if the attendees can see the answered chats, everybody, but the link to that is in there.
Okay.
Okay, another question from the chat. How do I organize a forklift?
I
Mhm.
actually did answer that in the Q&A. I attached the link. That is on the Expresso site.
The back in this exhibitor kit, it's also called Espresso.
Oh, sorry. And then if you go under the material handling, and it should be under, okay, sorry, go under labor and equipment and click on labor and equipment and it'll be listed there.
Okay,
There you go.
there you go.
But
Yeah,
I did include the link to my response in the chat.
Okay, perfect. But it's just good to share it with everyone in case somebody else was maybe thinking of the same thing and didn't put it in the chat. Okay, anyone else, anything? I know we have a few minutes left.
There's some more questions, Caitlin.
Okay.
One is if we need to purchase additional exhibitor badges or guest passes, what is the cost? So I believe the cost is $230.
Yes, that is correct.
Another,
There's a-
sorry, Erin.
It's
Another
okay.
question is the name of the app. So the app name is HAI Events. You'll receive an invite. You won't be able to access it until we open it to the exhibitor group. And that email will get you your login details.
Any other questions? Erin,
Yeah,
was that another one?
Yeah, one question is, who is the official catering company for the show?
The catering can be found again either in the kit or in that helpful contacts page. I believe it is here. Hold on, additional social services catering is right here. So it's Levy is the official caterer at the center. And again, you can email them or fill out the form right here. Downloads.
Okay, and then Emily, this question will be for you, I believe. If they requested a meeting room, when are they going to hear back on the assignment?
So I'll probably get to the majority of those next week.
And just to highlight that, 'cause I don't think we really specified that. If you go to I believe it's on the exhibitor services kit page. Again, here's some links here. So if you haven't already requested a meeting room and you want to request a meeting room, you click here on this link and you can fill out the form for the request for a meeting room. So it's right here. Just to show you while we had it up. But yeah, also same with the publication bins. The request form is here. And again, just a link to back to the helpful contacts and the deadlines. And again, the booth variance form, which we talked about at the beginning. If you have a variance request, click here and it will take you to the form to fill out. Any other questions?
Yeah, we have one question that says, will the marshalling yard be based on first come, first serve, or based on the targeted move-in?
So I would encourage everybody to make sure they double check their target time to avoid off-target surcharges. But it will be first come, first serve. And as long as your area is able to be accessed and there's enough docks over in that area, we we'll send you over to be offloaded. If that area is unavailable, then we would have to hold them into the in the yard.
Okay, and then there's this other question, Amy. Oh, it just disappeared. 1 second. Do we have to set up on the target date, or do we have all day on the 6th to set up? Kind of the same.
The target date is basically more about moving in your material handling. We will move it in the night prior, so it's ready for you that morning of your target date and time, or if your trucks are arriving, that they should arrive at that date and time if they're going direct to show site instead. But in regards to when you physically set up, as long as you're ready by the time show management has clear floor policy, then you are good to go.
Yeah, pretty much at the end of the day on Monday, you need to be all set and ready so we can open on Tuesday.
And then we have a question that's regarding emergency procedures, if any information is going to be out about that in an event there's natural disaster, active shooter, that kind of thing.
Yes, we can look into, like, we'll look into having that posted. The building has provided us with some emergency details. And yeah, I'll look at adding that to the website, and probably in the next exhibitor newsletter, I'll make a note to make sure that's included. And I think we're up right at in the hour time, but is there one last question, Erin, or is that it? Otherwise, again, you can reach us, email us, and any other questions that we maybe missed in the chat, we'll go back through and make sure everything was answered. Thank you everyone for attending. I really appreciate your time. I hope this was helpful. Again, we'll have this recording available afterwards, and post it to the website and send it out in our next newsletter. Anything else, anyone? Am I missing anything? Any last words?
We just have 8 or 9 open questions, and we will get to those. So we will answer those by tomorrow. We'll just send you an email. And thanks everyone for joining, all your questions, and Erin will reach out to you about the prizes.
Yes,
and
thank you for participating.
Yes, Dan will wear his crazy pants at the fly-in.
Of course.
So if you receive an email from me about the prizes, just make sure you respond, because I'm going to need to get your correct shipping address, and you want to get the prizes that we have. So keep an eye out for that.
All right. Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. See you in Atlanta.